Great, grand, wonderful. Hello.
Hello.
I feel like whenever we videotape these things, hello.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, great. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. A little sleepy, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's a
We're
little
gonna push
rainy.
through.
Yeah.
Terrible Florida weather. All right, we are going to do our weekly dad meeting on lesson 8. What from yesterday? What? But first, let's talk about things that are going well in your class. Obviously, this FSA choice board that you made to review, killing the game. All of your kids, when I come in here, 100% of them have been working in on task, which is amazing. And you have been doing a much better job with modeling your thinking.
Yep, I'm trying. Real specific, like this is. Let's pause here, children. Let's pause.
What do you think the impact has been on those things?
The students are understanding the materials faster, and even if they're not necessarily getting the right answer, they understand the process to do it. So I feel like I have more buy-in from the kids.
Yes, and I think that the choice board helps a lot. Your kids want to do their work in other classes, which I think is the ultimate testament of your buy-in that you have. When I was doing reading intervention before, they're like, "Can we just do math?" And I was like, "Yes, okay."
Yes, but no. Yes, but no.
So they're much more invested this year than they are last year. I think that they've seen a lot of success and they've had a lot of choices, and I think that's why you have so many kids participating, which is really great. So shine to you for that.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to jump right in to this lovely lesson. So I was in here yesterday. We've done some area of irregular figures, mixed success. We've done the grid part, more success.
It went pretty well today,
Yes.
67%.
Yes. So not as good yesterday, but better today. So
Better
that's great.
today. Yep.
I love it. So let us dive into what the kids needed to know and be able to do. There's 2 standards. I know that we've already gone through this in our beginning module part. So there's 2 standards. What do kids need to be able to know and be able to do?
So they needed to know the different formulas to find areas of specific shapes.
Which one specifically?
For this number 1, it's triangles and rectangles. You know, it's got big quadrilateral rectangles.
Rectangles.
So triangles and rectangles, but that was the main thing. And then they also had to be able to decompose the figure. We part of this lesson involved G1, 4, 3 that involved 3 with coordinate grid and plotting points, and then finding areas based off of that, which I think was the biggest issue for a lot of students with the graphing. Yes.
So 100% agree with you. Decomposing, you got all of those things. We already talked about them. Let me just check to make sure. Nope. We've gotten all the no's and do's. Yes, look at us. Okay, anyway. So let's look at number 1 specifically. I think number 1 bleeds really easily into what you're doing today and what we've done in the past. And it's more realistic of what they're going to see at the end of the year. So criteria for success for number 1, what do they need to do in order to get full mastery of question 1?
Well, they had to, so for number 1, they had to decompose the figure. They had to find the area. They had to explain why they chose the method that they chose, and they had to write an expression. There was a lot going on. There was like a lot going on in this one.
And here's a child. Okay.
Classic middle school.
Real life.
Classic middle school. The other Miss Riley?
The other one. She's upstairs. Sure, yeah, we'll go with that. If you go up the stairs that way, it's the first office. I didn't know it was upstairs. Yep. Your sister.
No, yeah, my
Miss Riley,
sister.
the other one.
There's 3. There's 3 of us in this building? There's 3 Rileys.
Yep, 3 Rileys, and you're all somehow related, even though you're not. 2 of them are, but, you know.
2 of them are. Not me.
Perfect. And they also just need to compute the areas of each and then add them together.
So that could even be the expression you used.
Yep.
Like, I wasn't super picky on that. I didn't really get anything. Did that.
Yeah, I think that there could have been a couple of different ways to, like, explain the methods used, but as long as you could understand how the kid was getting their answer, pretty much. Whether they wanted to write it out in words or whether they wanted to write it out with the formulas and add them together. So either way. Great. So let's look. There was a handful of children who got number 1. Let's look and see, what did they do to master this? I had them right on top, and no, I do not have that right on top.
They're all really still getting confused on triangles. That's all I know. They want to divide everything in half. Literally. What are you looking for specifically?
Let's look at Anisha's.
Alright, yeah, I was just looking at hers actually. Alright.
So what did Anisha do to show mastery?
Well, Anisha, she partitioned the shape in a interesting way. Oh, she made it like a really big triangle. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So she made a triangle and then, I don't know what you want to call it.
No, it's actually.
Like a trapezoid.
Mm-hmm.
Like on one side parallel lines.
Yes. That's actually interesting. Looking a little bit closer, her work matches what is supposed to be with the triangle, but her work doesn't match her picture.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. There was one more. Let's think about strengths, though. I mean, she did get the right answer.
Yeah. All of them knew to decompose. All of them knew to decompose, and I thought that was a strength because they've been struggling with like, where do I decompose? Like, what is it? They just like have been really struggling conceptually with the decomposition piece in general. Even Dijon, he's been like, this has been like a harder unit for him, but he's been working. He's been still trying, and he's still invested.
Right.
And he's using the strategies.
Yeah, so let's actually look at his really quickly.
My buddy Dijon. It's a bad one.
So what did he do to show mastery on number one?
Oh.
Well, I would say he showed the answer and he got it the correct way. I think that mastery is maybe a little bit of a stretch since it didn't meet all of our criteria of like explaining, but let's look and see mathematically what did he do.
I like how he actually drew the a rectangle up here, as opposed to just, partitioning. Instead, he used the other strategy. That subtracted, so he used the strategies from class. And then he found the area of the. So he split it right here, and then found a rectangle in the edge, like little doohickey there. Then he found this area, and then this area, and then.
Yes.
It was just. I was really impressed with him because he's. Like I said, he struggled a lot with this unit so far, and he's still trying, working this a little hard up for me.
Good. So he got the correct answer in a way that was okay. He could have done it that way. Can we look at Ashiana's? Ashiana. I always say that. I always say her name. I always mess it up. Yes.
Yeah, no, I know.
Unfortunately.
Ooh, the first week I was like, I don't know how to say her name. You're gonna have to pronounce it for me like 18 times.
Yeah. I want to call her a name of one of my other kids today.
So she split it in a different way. She found the area of the bottom part of the rectangle, and then this is the part that she struggles with. She wants to divide everything in half.
How did she partition her figure number one?
She split it right below where the triangle comes, like right below where the triangle starts.
So she partitioned it correctly on the bottom with the base of 2 and the height of 4 for that rectangle, and then she thought that this shape was a triangle.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
We're reviewing a lot more triangles today.
Okay. Can we look at Israel's?
Sure. There we go.
Okay, what do you notice about his? Because his work is pretty easy to follow.
Yeah, he broke it down into an A and B part, which I really appreciated. It sort of looks like he found. It looks like he found the perimeter a little bit.
4, 4, 2, 2. So he definitely found the area of this, which is 8. I think that I'm not quite sure how he found his answer of 12. But I do think a strength of this is that he did label the parts A and B so that you could follow.
And he could keep his work straight for even himself, which is good, which is like just a good strategy to have. But I think today's lesson is going to clear up a lot of these misconceptions that they're having.
So let's talk about some of these other ones. So some of the kids who didn't make it. What did you notice about, for example, Kenya Jackson, or Rochamel, or Michael.
Can't you just put a number on there? She she just like didn't even know where to approach it. So that was part of her problem. She's like didn't know where to approach. And she wrote.
Or even Marlon. Marlon had some work,
but I don't even know where he got these numbers from. And this is like his biggest issue too, is just labeling his work in general. Like he's very much like, I can do it all in my head and I don't need to use the paper. But then this like doesn't even connect to this.
Yep. So if we had to put a phrase in, student mastery would improve the most, what do you think the biggest misconception that the kids had was?
I want to say decomposing the figure.
Yes. So it's interesting because we spent a few days on the decomposition already. But I 100% agree with you. I think that the kids who could decompose it, it was literally like Miss Christian who used the wrong formula, or they didn't organize their work. But there's some kids who legitimately like didn't even try to decompose the figure or decomposed it incorrectly.
Yeah.
I also think that you bringing up how, who was it who labeled theirs A and B? Israel. I think that that is a strength that you can leverage of like, that's a almost kid who was almost there. So we had to put it like in a phrase. Gifts of learning would improve the most if they could do what?
Decompose the figures. And then also know that, triangles the only thing each 5 by 2.
Yes. And labeling their parts. Because I think that some of the problem in this exit ticket was that we couldn't figure out what they were doing because their work is like literally all over the place.
Yes.
Minorly.
It's fine. It's
Yes.
casual.
Yeah, it's casual. So how do you think that we should address this lesson 8?
I'm just gonna reteach it today.
Yes. So you have an advantage that you taught this yesterday and you're reteaching it today. And your mastery is already improving, which is great.
Yeah.
I also noticed that in the lesson today, for some reason, there's like not a lot of triangles.
Yeah, there's more towards the end. So I'm also like, I'm going to do the trapezoid problem as decomposing into 2 triangles. So that way we can hit the triangle game again.
Yes. So I do think that that is something that we do need to reteach and hit on. So can we go through that specific problem today and make sure that we're scripted out to try to clear up some of these misconceptions they have in this X ticket?
Just like the decomposition of the trapezoid?
Yes.
Sure.
I was going to have us do this one, but I think that to bring up a point, we just need to teach them how to decompose it since your lesson today goes right on into that. I think that we can leverage what we already have.
Sure.
So, do you have your plans for today?
There, because I was using them earlier.
Perfect.
We can just do it at the board if you want.
Sure.
Bring our friends along for the
Bring this. We're taking a walk. Taking a walk.
This just deals with everything that we're doing today, too.
Yes.
-2. And this is on its side, so it's just extra fun for the kids. So it's a trapezoid. I don't think the kids understand how much these projectors actually shake when you're up here.
Yours actually shouldn't shake that much. It's slightly concerning.
Right? Right? Okay. So anyways, so we're gonna, we could teach them, we're not teaching them the trapezoid formula anymore.
Correct.
Gone
So
with the wind.
you have your plans too?
Yeah.
Can we take like a minute to like actually script out what you're going to say?
Sure.
And then practice it?
Where did they go? I literally have them because I was using them first block so I could walk around and be like, children,
Yes.
this is what we need to learn.
So let's both take a minute to do that.
Sure. Now I'm concerned because I was just using them. Oh, because I used them to create the exit.
The great thing is, this is really very, very close to what we're already
doing.
Mm-hmm. Those are great problems to do.
So, we're going to find the area by using the outside because it's just a nice little review. So the height is 1, 2, 3. Right? And trying to, the kids are all like, your drawings are off. I'm like, it's really not just me, guys. It's fine. It's fine.
I'm just laughing at my own notes because
Okay. So what shape is this, everyone?
you got it. So how are you gonna open this and
Alright,
connect
guys.
it to what they did yesterday?
So let's take 30 seconds and let's plot the point and connect the shapes. Connect the points, that way we have like a shape to work with. Great. Does anybody know what shape this is called? It's
a weird triangle square.
Yeah, it's a square angle. There we go. It's a square angle. I'm throwing it back from yesterday.
What is it actually though called?
It's actually called a trapezoid. So there is a formula I could teach you guys, but really what I want us to practice today after our exit ticket yesterday is I want us to review decomposing figures. Which means what? It means breaking down. So what I want everybody to do, turn your head to the side, and we're going to actually cut it like this. Yeah. It's real hard. Do you want me to cut it like that? How do you want me to
So are you doing the subtraction way from yesterday, or are you going to do it the way of the exit ticket? Because the way that I was actually wondering, the way of the exit ticket is if you cut it this way, then you're gonna have to do
Yeah, the height
that
that
from
way.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Or if you cut it this way.
Okay, so that's how you want me to cut it? Alright.
Well, what do you think the benefit of doing it this way versus doing it the?
Because that's more like yesterday. And then also we can just get them to, in the process of adding it all.
And also,
It's reviewing yesterday.
yes, and one thing to hammer home is I'm thinking of Kenya's, how she just kind of like did this weird triangle, which is fine, and then kids are gonna be like, the base is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah,
which is, I think if you get them in the habit of your base and your height need to be a right angle. There we go, there's 1, there's 2, and doing it that way versus this way, you might get more bang for your buck with the kids doing that with consecutive. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I mean, we keep saying it, and they know it, but
Okay.
So anyway, so now that we found our height, we've partitioned our shapes, so we've got 2 triangles and a quadrilateral. How do I find the height of this? You count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the height is 5. What's the base? 1. All right, guys. So let's
Pause you for just a second. So you did a really good job of saying it's 2 triangles and 1 quadrilateral. I think to leverage Israel's strength, I'm gonna write. Let's label like triangle number 1 or A, B, and C. Yeah, and then you could say we're gonna find the area of triangle A.
We're going to find the area of shape A. The area of shape A, it's a triangle, so we can use the formula area equals base times height
Good.
divided by 2. My base is 1, my height is 5, and we're going to divide it by 2. 1 times 5, 5. Then we're going to divide 5 by 2. We're going to get 2.5. Knowing what I just did there, I'd like everyone to find the area of triangle B.
Perfect. Can I something super minor? Switch colors just so kids. I think if you.
I mean, I can color it.
Yeah, I think if you colored it in too, then you could be like, we found the area of triangle A. And I think that you have enough knowledge in the room and enough practice from yesterday, the day before, that the kids 100% at this point, y'all could do triangle B.
need to find the area of shape C. Really need to buy new markers.
Got it, you got it.
Shape C. This is a quadrilateral, and since we already know our height is 5 based on both ends, we just need to count the base. So for a quadrilateral like this with 4 right angles, our formula is just base times height. We don't need to divide by 2. Please don't divide by 2. Okay, that's for you guys up in Chicago. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm literally losing my mind with that part. The base is 4, the height is 5. Multiply them, area equals 20. So now to find our area of the whole thing, to find the area of the whole entire thing, let's reuse our little equation from last unit, guys. A plus B plus C. So A was 2.5. B, I would use different markers here to actually show. And C is 20. And altogether, it is 25.
Good. So, 2 pieces of feedback.
Sure.
I think it's really clear whenever you use the different colors.
Yeah.
You releasing them to do the second triangle is very wise because that will give you a pulse check on whether they even understood what you did at the beginning. Pushing them just to realize that this weird trapezoid is literally just, I'm going to put these 2 triangles together and the rectangle, and it's going to give me this weird shape.
Yeah.
So I think the more that you can say, you're thinking in your head of, when I put these 3 figures together, I have the whole shape, so let me put these 3 areas together to get the area of the entire thing.
Okay.
But that was much clearer than you did it yesterday, which is really great. What check for understandings are you going to ask at the end, just to make sure that they got it?
Checks for understanding about that.
Well, what misconceptions have they had previously?
They
on
divide
this?
everything literally by 2.
Yes.
Literally everything is divided by 2. So I'm going to do a check, and I'm going to walk around when I'm actively monitoring to make sure. And if I see kids, I'm going to circle and be like, check that. And then I'll ask that whole group, I'll bring it back. So do we need to divide by 2? Why don't I need to divide by 2 here, but I did here? What's the difference?
Write that down so you don't forget it. What other misconceptions did they have on yesterday's exit ticket that you can address in this model?
They didn't really add at the end. It was hard to see. I think just by labeling, though, that'll take care of it. Those were like really, the biggest one that they didn't partition. So if we go back over specifically partitioning, it'll be okay.
I think that hammering home, exactly like you did at the beginning, why did I partition this into the 2 triangles and the 1 rectangle? Getting them to understand that a triangle has to have a base and a height that is
At a right
a
angle.
right angle. Even though we continue to hammer that home, I partitioned it this way along the grid so that the base and the height have the right angle. Good. You did a really good job when you said, like, this quadrilateral has 4 right angles. This is the base, this is the height. So continuing to hammer that home. Base and the height are perpendicular. Look for the right angles, children.
Forever.
Great job.
Forever. Just please and thank you guys.
Okay, perfect. This is a really great example to just jump off of from yesterday. Honestly, don't know why this example wasn't before yesterday's, but you know, we're gonna do what we're gonna do. All right, so I'm gonna come and watch this today, obviously. Probably gonna slop.
Great.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm so in here, so you're gonna be with the 30 children.
Yes.
And all the friends.
But I do think that this is gonna have an impact. I mean, it already did today with the 67%. From yesterday, it's a little bit easier of an exit ticket, I think, with the rectangles. But great. Do you have any questions for me? Needs, concerns, comments?
Nope, just need the mock FSA.
Yes. All right.